Good morning, my dear beautiful friends and fellow seekers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Coffee with the Council. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Jack. So nice to see you all here. Hello, April. Good to see you. Hello. Good morning. How are we doing today? I am tired. I feel tired, but content, although I think I will be napping, and depending on how the energy is after our session today. How you guys doing? What's going on? Hello. This is a very soothing song. Can everybody hear it? Your last sip of coffee again, Carrie? Is at the same time, roughly 10:30 every day for you? You're finishing up your coffee? Jack says, I'm good, Craig. Thanks, Craig. Beautiful springtime. Yes, it is here as well. It's going to be warm today, up in the 80s. You tend to have a few cups to get you going. Well, we'll get you going even further after this session today. Oh, Jack, I did go on a walk, a nice, really long walk on Sunday, and I took a picture, but I forgot to use whatever Google thing you said to look it up. It's not pink, actually. It is sort of, it's somewhere between purple and pink. But it was really, really lovely. And then during my walk, I was passing this. The only thing that I can call it is like a palm tree bush. It's basically it's like the top of a palm tree, but without a trunk, and it was just right in the ground. And as I was passing, I felt something really strong, which I'm not usually feeling. I'm not always. Sometimes I feel stuff in nature, but it really wanted me to linger and spend some time with it. And it was this beautiful, big bush, maybe 3 feet across each way. And then about 10 minutes later, I ended up in this beautiful. I have to put the recording up. I ended up in this beautiful trail area that was just full of red rock sand. So sand from the red rocks and sage bushes for like ever. Like as far as the eye could see to the houses. It was a really great walk. But no, I haven't checked on what those flowers are yet. Magenta, it could be. I'm not sure. Is magenta between pink and purple, Catherine? Jack's referring to some photos I put up on one of my socials from when I first moved here, walking around the neighborhood. Hello, Jeanette. Good morning from Manitoba. Love and light for you too, dear. Oh, it was wonderful. It's really, really nice. Heliotrope is a color? Heliotrope. You know, it was very much, can you see the colors? Oh, you won't see my mouse. It was kind of this color, if you can see this well. This is the color of the flower. A light purple like a bright lavender. Yes, there was no hint of blue in this flower, though. This was definitely coming. We'll find out what it is. I will look it up. Welcome, everybody. Is anyone new today? Hello and welcome if you're new. It's nice to meet you. My name is Greg Phillips. You're new. How do you say your name? Yael? Yael? I don't know how to say it, but it looks like a pretty name. Yael. Very cool. I love that. It almost reminds me of angels. Like Archangel Yael. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, Yael. It's nice to have you here. You probably are an angel in some form, right? Aren't we all? My name's Greg Phillips. My role on the planet right now is to help guide people into the depths of their heart so they can experience meaningful transformation. I do that in a lot of different ways. I do energy readings and healings. I do what I call loving guidance. It's just intuitive guidance. And also I do channeling, which is what we're doing today. You'll get to meet the council for the first time today. The Council of Seven are a beautiful group of beings that came to me about a year ago now that I've been channeling. And they have come specifically representing 7 distinct energies that are essential for the spiritual evolution of us humans on the planet. The first of which is love, and the second of which is unity. So what we've been doing for the last few days since Coffee with the Council started is they have been discussing a variety of topics related to is-ness. So we will see what they have to share today. Hello, Darlene. Good to see you, Yael. It's very nice to have you here. Welcome to you. Hey, Sherry. Good morning, beautiful. How are you today? Jeanette says, it's my sweet son Felix's birthday today. If you're so inclined, please send beautiful healing frequencies. Oh, he is so beautiful and perfect. Exactly as he is. Great. It's so good to have you guys here today. Let's see. Yesterday's live. So it took me a while to get it posted up on the replay. But raise your hand in chat if you tried the Moments of Joy game. And how did it feel? What was your experience if you tried it? Anyone who was here yesterday tried the Moments of Joy game? Nobody? It's okay if you didn't. I'm gonna make a track out of it eventually. You did, Sherry? Me. How did it go? What did it feel like? What was your experience? Sit up straight. Jack says, I love doing it. It makes me feel grateful, full of love, and smiley. It does, doesn't it? It's a very joyful game. Hello, Catherine. Welcome. Good to have you. April, I tried it. It was nice to rank order, and the simple things are highly rated. Yes, indeed. Isn't it fascinating what you discover is actually highly rated? So for those who are new, the last couple months, every so often, the Council 7 have been offering a game. It's a tool, it's an exercise, it's a practice, if you will, but they call it a game because that's the spirit and the light in which they encourage us to practice it in. And it's called the Moments of Joy game, or what I affectionately call the Mojo game. If you want to get your mojo back, play the Moments of Joy game. And it's simply a way to become completely present with what is in the moment by looking around and just being a mindful observer, and then using a 1 through 10 scale to quickly rate how much joy witnessing what you're looking at brings to you in that moment. And it's fine to have it a 1 meaning there's incy-wincy little teeny-weeny bit worth of joy, and a 10 being like my heart is bursting full of joy. So it's a really fun game to play in the middle of just whatever you're doing, working on a work project, taking a walk, petting your pet, washing the dishes, in the shower, doing your personal hygiene, getting dressed. It's really just a wonderful game, and it brings you very much into a complete presence in the moment. And like Jack said, it's really fun. It makes you smiley. Mojo, Moments of Joy Opportunity. Yeah, I mean, I just take M-O, moments, joy, J-O, Mojo. Sherry says it was good. It lifted my spirit throughout the day and kept me from worry. Wow, that's powerful, Sherry, which I was able to let go of last night after being stuck. Yay, everybody celebrate Sherry. That sounds amazing. That's so cool. Catherine says, Jeanette, my youngest son is 25 today. Oh, you guys both have son birthdays. I love that. That is so cool. Hey, Gwen. Nice to see you, dear. So nice to see everybody. Stephanie's here. Oh my God, Stephanie, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you? If you're brand new, please feel free to say hi. Tell us what beverage you are imbibing this morning. What are you drinking? I'm always drinking water. That's it. Either sparkling juice, smoothies, sparkling juice, or water. But at this time, I'm drinking water. Hey, Gwen, I made it. Had dental cleaning this morning. Oh, sorry to hear that. Although you're smiling, so that must be a good thing. Cool. We have son birthdays today. Catherine, what's your son's name? We have Felix from Jeanette. No drink currently. I'm doing a spot test. I don't know what that is. Anyways, if you are brand new, please feel free to say hi. Hunter and Felix have birthdays today. Lovely. Thank you so much for being here today. So, yes, let's get into it, shall we? You're loving your hygienist. Hygienist. I love it. Very cool. Oh, saliva spot test. Got it. All right, my friends, let's check out and see what the council has to say. Stephanie's only here for a moment. I just had to pop in. It is great to see you, Stephanie. All righty, let's see what the council brings to us this morning. Oops, I got to blow my nose before we do this. My apologies. There we go. Dear guides and councils. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our dear beloved friends. We greet you from the energetic realms where we celebrate and love each and every single feeling and thought that you experience in this beautiful lifetime on your planet Earth. Hello, how are you all today? We are very pleased to hear that some of you tried the working out or working with the Moments of Joy game. For indeed, those that experienced anything particularly subtle and or profound, which both, by the way, are possible when playing such a game, those that experienced the subtle and or profound indeed were making the deep connection with the presence in the moment that we have fostered this game specifically and intentionally for. So we applaud you. Yay, we celebrate you. Thank you for trying that. Please continue to practice and play this Moments of Joy game in your everyday regular life. Now, why is this important, doing it when you are even already feeling good? Well, it is because it truly fosters a deep and intimate connection with the moment. This is why it's called the Moments of Joy game. And as dear Jack experienced, it is quite, smiley indeed. It is something that will, if you are not feeling joyful, can bring joy into your heart. But when you are already feeling joyful, what it simply is doing, our dear friends, is continually raising your vibration and creating a stronger connection to the moment and to the topic that we have been discussing, isness. So we hope that you have been enjoying the topic of isness so far. And today we would like to discuss a little bit of a clarification. It is easy for the human mind because of its static connection to the 3D physical reality and its inability truly to function outside of that particular range of frequencies and vibrations that are tied to the 3D physical reality. It is very difficult for the mind to not judge, if you will, to not create story, to not analyze. Now, one of the best ways in which to use the mind is to be the mindful observer, because in the moments of being a mindful observer, such as the way you use the mind during the moments of joy game, being a mindful observer allows the mind to do one of the things that it does most excellently. It does observation incredibly well. And so you are using the mind to one of its fullest capacities, and yet you are doing so in service of the moment, in service of what is, in service of your heart and your own expansion. And so if you are a mindful observer instead of a judger or an analyzer or a storyteller, none of which is bad, by the way, then you will begin to fine-tune, tweak your mind, if you will, train it to think or behave in a different fashion. And this also is one of the purposes of the Moments of Joy game, is to fine-tune, to calibrate your mind so that it is of service to your heart and your higher purpose, rather than you being enslaved to the mind's habits and tendencies towards judgment, story, criticism, etc., worry, anxiety, projection, expectation, yearning, longing, etc. Now, the clarification that we would like to discuss briefly this morning with you today is it is easy for the mind to consider some of the topics we've discussed. For example, it is easy for the mind to begin to analyze or consider the topic of wasness, which we discussed last week. And then the mind can hear, well, wasness is isness, burdened, weighed down by story. Oh, this must be bad. This is what the mind says. Oh, I must be doing something wrong when I find myself in a state of wasness, when I find myself weighed down by stories from the past. This is furthest from the truth, our dear friends. You cannot fully grasp and understand, much less be completely present in the moment and present with isness, unless you fully accept that wasness is isness. There is, in fact, isness within wasness. So even though wasness is isness weighed down by story, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being in a state of wasness. What we would encourage you is that when you find yourself weighed down by story, weighed down by regret, weighed down by thoughts of the past, disappointments, discouragements about the past, or any particular story you are telling about your health, your family, your relationships, your purpose in life based on what has occurred in the past, when you find yourself in this moment of wasness, or these moments of wasness, and you can feel the weightiness, my friends, this is the indicator. When you feel the heaviness, when you feel an emotion that is heavy, weighing you down, you are not in the moment, you are in wasness. Now, it is absolutely essential for your continued growth spiritually and your expansion to not judge this particular place and state of being. When you are in it, you simply just look at it and go, mindful observer, there I go, I'm in wasness. What stories am I weighing isness down with at this moment? For indeed, isness exists across time and space. Of course, there is no past and no future. They are indeed illusions. Everything that has occurred in all of your past and all of your future is in the very moment, is in the very now. And therefore, everything has isness. It does not so much matter. It matters to the mind, but it really does not matter to your spirit and your soul whether your isness is temporarily being weighed down by burdensome stories, or whether it is being yoked and dragged about by yearnings and longings and expectations for the future. These things do not matter. They are simply moments to observe when you are doing them, without judgment, without analysis, without self-criticism. For this is an important step. And many of you are familiar with our dear friend Abraham from Abraham Hicks. Many years ago, they introduced something called the emotional guidance scale. This is something in which or I should say, Greg, yes, indeed, for he is still here, where Greg began to learn that one of the biggest sources of suffering that he was causing in himself, in his own life, was that when he felt bad, he then judged himself for feeling bad. And just as a simple example, if he got angry, then he would get angry at himself for getting angry. Now, this quite simply, dear friends, compounds the story and the weight. Yes, indeed, many people will say this is truly one of the sources of suffering, but it simply energetically is just piling more weight onto what is already a weighty situation. So we encourage you to recognize these moments and to not judge them. And when you recognize them, you can simply see, if you do so without judgment or analysis or adding more weight to the situation, you can simply see in this moment, there, I am doing it. Let me find a way to return to the moment. Perhaps I will play the Moments of Joy game. Perhaps I will nap. Perhaps I will meditate. Perhaps I will listen to inspiring music. Indeed, there's many different techniques. You can do yoga nidra, you can go for a walk. There are many different ways in which you can come back into the moment. And indeed, the Moments of Joy game is one. So we offer this clarification to further help encourage and enhance your understanding of the shift in your relationship to time that we speak of. For if you truly wish to grow and expand within your heart, being a slave to time and being a slave to your mind is indeed something that it is not a bad thing necessarily, for it is part and parcel of the experience of being a human on the planet Earth these days. But it is indeed something that will weigh you down further, that will slow your growth, that will keep you in a lower vibrational frequency. And the mind is very comfortable in its own range of frequencies. But the heart longs for more. The heart knows that more is possible. More meaning higher ranges of frequency, higher vibrational states of being. So we hope that this makes sense to you today. And let us see if there's anything else to offer. We think that it is, we will close with that for the moment, for indeed this encouragement to see wasness and not yetness as its true, from its true natural essential place, which truly is isness. This is perhaps a concept that may take some time to integrate. Therefore, we do not wish to add more to think about with this, but we do sense that there may be questions regarding this particular message today, and so we will allow our dear channel Greg to come out and field those questions from you. We thank you so much for your presence here today with us and every single other morning that you have spent with us. We are so greatly overjoyed and enthused by your interest and willingness to come together in community. There is no this is not a coincidence who has gathered each of these days in this very morning. For this very group has come together specifically because of the desire for connection, this desire for community, the desire for expansion in your own heart space. And we applaud and we welcome, we celebrate this. And we love you very deeply. And always remember that you are truly safe, secure, and deeply loved, and particularly when you reconnect with the moment and with those moments of joy. And so we will leave you with that until the next time that we come visiting with you. We thank you and we love you. I suddenly got conscious in the middle of that my music was not on. I don't know what happened. Hi, guys. Oh, wow. Susan says, Hi, Catherine. It makes a lot of sense. Does it, though? Okay, good. Hi, Julia. Thank you. I'm new here and I'm really enjoying this session. If you have a chance, would you briefly review the moments of joy again? I'd like to try it. Indeed. Well, if you have access to YouTube, I put all my lives up on YouTube. You can just go to my teacher link and you can find my, or as I lovingly call it, the tube of you. And you can look up yesterday's, what would that be? April 7th, 4/7. You can look up yesterday's replay and get the exact instructions from the council. So, Sherry, thank you for thanking the council. Jack says, lovely message. Thank you. I feel so inspired to stop being judgmental around my thoughts and feelings. You know, here's the thing, Jack. It is the faculty of the mind is to make judgments. Think about it. If you're working on a creative project, or if you're working on a business project, or if you're just working on a task, maybe you're cleaning around the house or repairing or doing something, right? You require the mind in order to make certain little snapshot analysis of things, right? And it is its natural, beautiful function. But where it goes astray is when we become slaves to that judgment, when we believe the various judgments, when we allow the mind to judge who we are, when we allow the mind to judge our lives, to judge our experiences, to judge our feelings, this is where we get into trouble. This is where we get some suffering going, and then we can pile onto it because like the council was using my example, you know, I would get angry and then I would get angry that I was angry, or I'd get disappointed that I got angry, or whatever. I don't have that issue anymore, thankfully, but it just sort of compounds it, right? There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with the mind doing what it normally does. And it's for me in my life, it is exclusively for moments where we're actually focused on something and we need our power of discernment, or our strength in snapshot analysis of what to do next. Of course, much of this can come from intuition as well. But it's so important, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but I'm feeling that somebody else will benefit from hearing this. It's so important then when we see the mind doing these things that are causing us to feel bad, that we do not pile on more of it from the mind, that we have that compassion, that loving allowance in our heart for that. Clarity, says Darlene. Oh, good. Clarity around what, dear Darlene? And Julia, by the way, welcome. Thank you for being here. So happy to have you here. And anyone else who's brand new to us, please do follow me so you'll get notified. And if you'd like to join our beautiful group on Insight Timer, it's called Our Happy Little Bubble. So we can all live in a happy little bubble together if we wish. You're welcome, Jeanette. April says, this message resonates, and my key takeaway is to train my mind to be a servant to my soul. Well said, April. Yes, indeed. One of my very first spirit guides, Dr. Peebles, who was channeled through a dear friend of mine, one of the places I used to live, he used to always say that the mind can only see as far as like the headlights of a car. I think Abraham talks about this too, but that the heart can see all the chapters of our life, that the mind can only see the page of the chapter that we're currently on. Just one page, not both sides, just one. Whereas the heart sees all the pages in the chapter and all the chapters in the book and all the books in the series of our entire existence, right? And that's because the heart exists. The heart has the capacity. Let's put it this way. The heart's is-ness, energetically speaking, has the capacity to span multiple ranges of frequency. Whereas the mind is stuck in the range of the 3D. I don't know the science and the exact frequency numbers, but the mind is stuck in the range of vibrational frequencies that are associated with the 3D physical world. The heart travels and is a portal to all the other frequencies, all the other vibrations. Your heart can get stuck in the 3D physical range as well, but it has the capacity to expand out, to travel, to traverse the variety of energetic frequencies. Yes, and that's the April said it. Allow the heart to train my mind. That's the basis of my one of my most favorite tracks that I have, which is called Heart Teach My Mind. If you are ever having trouble dropping out of your head and into your heart, that track is a lifesaver. I tell you, it just calms it calms, I think it calms the nervous system, it calms the mind, and it just drops you right into your heart. It is just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. What else? Darlene says it's similar to cognitive behavioral therapy when they tell you to see your thoughts as passing clouds, if that makes sense. The passing clouds makes sense. I'm not familiar with therapies and things. I don't, my mind and interests don't lie in, well, sometimes I get interested and piqued by certain models and modalities and things, but I'm not familiar with different kinds of therapies. But passing clouds, I can very much say yes to that, because that is the experience I have often when I'm overthinking during meditation. They're very much like passing clouds. Jeanette says my key takeaway today is self-compassion. When I realize I'm spinning into negativity, I do try to put my hand on my heart and breathe. Exactly. Oh, I love that for you, Jeanette. Yeah, self-compassion, or what I like to call loving allowance. Dr. Peoples taught me he would always encourage us to have loving allowance for all things to be in their own time and place, starting with ourselves. And it's a really, really beautiful. I used to talk about that when I first went live a lot. Well, it sounds like you guys really got something from the message today. I love that. Darlene got clarity on how the nesses relate to is-ness. Yes, indeed. Indeed, there is a relationship to it all. Of course, ultimately, is-ness is everything. Is-ness is existence. So when you're in was-ness, I love the clarification that they gave today, because the very first definition last week of was-ness was what they shared today was that was-ness is is-ness, weighed down by story. So at its core, at its true existence, at its level existentially, its true essence, was-ness is is-ness. It's just weighed down by it. And not yetness, meaning focused on the future, worrying, longing, yearning, expectations. That is also is-ness. But in those moments, it's is-ness that is being filtered through the mind. It's is-ness that is being managed, evaluated, run by the mind, instead of being here right now and connecting with the essential nature of what is when you're in was-ness. When you're in a state of was-ness, for example, when you're thinking about a traumatic, or even, it doesn't matter how traumatic, but you can be slightly, something that happened when you were younger that you found has contributed to who you are today, or has defined you, or that you have lingering negative emotions and thoughts about. The beauty of recognizing, having that self-compassion that Jeanette is talking about, the loving allowance for that moment that you're in the was-ness, right? Or when you're in a negative emotion, to stop, to be the mindful observer, to be present with it, right? You then can, instead of getting caught up in the story about what happened, you simply come back to the moment, if you can, through whatever means. And then the most important thing to do is not to dismiss the story, but to recognize the emotion, to recognize how you're feeling, weighed down, or uncomfortable, if you want to keep it simple, and simply say and ask yourself, and this is a good use of the mind, what is it that I must be believing or thinking, or what have I defined or assigned a certain meaning to that is causing me to feel this way? Because here's the thing, my friends, when you're thinking about something in the past or in the future, and it is giving you a uncomfortable or a weighed down feeling, it's not because of what happened in the past. It's not because of what you hope for or expect or are worried about in the future. It's because of the belief you have in the moment about those things. So it's so important to come back to the isness, to the nowness, really come back to the nowness, so that you can see the true isness of what's going on. The true isness of what's going on is that you have a belief or a definition about what occurred or what you're worrying about in the future that is causing you to feel this way now. Emotions are always in the moment. Emotions are 100% purely in the moment. And if the emotion, which is just energy in motion, is occurring in the moment, then it's not being triggered by past or future thinking. It's being triggered by a current, in the moment belief and thought. This is key. When you start to get the practice down of looking at this, because what we're doing when we do this is we're no longer blaming past events. We're no longer piling story onto that. We're no longer worrying about what comes in the future, because we're taking responsibility in the moment, what we're thinking in the moment. And when we do that, we then reclaim the most important power that we have of any power in the world, and that is the power of choice. The power to choose what we focus on, the power to choose how we think. This is our true power. When you hear teachers and gurus and whoever self-help writers or whatever talk about they're here to help you reclaim your power. This, for me, this is it. This is the power. This is the one that they're not actually spelling it out super clearly sometimes. This is it. The power of choice. Because if you think about it, when you reclaim your power of choice, then you start to take ownership that you are the creator of your life, because you choose to do things. Now, this is also okay, so they're telling me a little bit extra. Oh, they're going to talk about this at some point, but I'll give a little hint. Why is the power of choice so important? It's because when we recognize, when we reclaim our power of choice, then we can start looking at how we're thinking and saying things in the moment. For example, this is the only one they're going to allow me to give a quick example, and then they said they're going to talk about it at another coffee with the council, because power of choice is one of their big topics as well. But for example, when you are presented with the possibility of a purchase and you say to yourself or out loud, I can't afford that right now. Well, that doesn't necessarily feel very good. It may be true for you in the moment, but it is far more powerful, because I can't afford it still has a little bit of a victim energy in it. I can't afford it, poor me, blah, blah, blah. But it is feel the difference when I say the following: I choose not to purchase that right now. I choose not to purchase that right now. When you say it that way, the energy behind that, feel the energetic difference. Close your eyes and say, I can't afford that. I choose not to purchase that. It's very different. I can feel a little bit more. It's a little tinglier. The second one has a higher vibration. I don't know how high. I'm not really checking into it totally. But when you say, I choose not to do that, right? There's a beautiful, beautiful video I saw from Bashar. And so a woman steps up to the mic and says, I have a tendency to, and he says, you have a what? He stops her in her tracks. And she says, I have a tendency to, and she's a little more meek. And he says, you have a what? And she's like, I don't know. And he starts to explain how the minute you recognize that you have a habit or a tendency to do something, it's no longer a habit. It's no longer a tendency. A tendency and a habit is something that you do unconsciously. The minute you are conscious that you are doing something, you are choosing to do it. So if you still identify it as a habit, or if you identify it as a tendency, claim it as a choice, my friends. Take responsibility for it. And it's okay if you continue to choose to do it, because you're choosing to do it because you believe that you are gaining a benefit from continuing to do that. For example, if you know that you, this is example from my life. If you know that you have, I was going to say a tendency. I will rephrase this as an example. If you know you have a pattern of going to bed later than you know you should, this is not a habit. This is not a tendency. It is a choice. So I, on occasion, this is interesting just to feel it in real time. On occasion, I choose to stay, and I see this very clearly, but it is uncomfortable. On occasion, I choose to stay up later than I know is good for me. And I do it for a variety of reasons. Oh, that's really interesting to just share that with you guys in real time right there. So that's an example. That's something that would be easy for me to consider a habit or a tendency, but to claim responsibility for it by saying, I choose this right now, it really brings it home. It also empowers each individual choice much more strongly. It really calms Darlene. I love that. April says, I meditated on these messages and got a download on beingness versus doingness, the ness of it all. Yes, the ness of it all. The ness versus the mess. That's another thing we can coin if we want. Yes, beingness. Beingness and isness are basically the same thing in my mind, in my heart. Sherry often says, I'm putting that on my list to buy. Well, there you go. I love that too and get excited about it. Hi, Marina. Thank you, Greg. I reclaim my power of choice. Yes, now, my friends, reclaiming the power of choice is not just a one and done sort of thing, at least from my experience. It's simply an awareness to bring into everything. Oh, in this moment, I'm not exercising my power of choice for this particular individual occurrence or happening or event or experience or feeling or whatever. Where is my power of choice? I'm going to reclaim it, and then boom. What am I choosing to believe? What am I choosing to believe? For we choose to believe things. Yes, indeed. Gwen says, I choose to eat food that I know isn't good for me sometimes. I do too. But often I'm choosing to eat it because I know I'm going to enjoy it. I've been really digging on peanut M&Ms since I moved to southern Utah. Are those good for me? The mind would say no. Too much chocolate, too much sugar, whatever. But I absolutely love them. I get so much joy, the crunch and the sweetness and the having, like, I take like 3 or 4 at a time and chew on them. It brings me so much joy that the analysis of whether it's good for me or not doesn't matter, because energetically, vibrationally, I'm processing, they're bringing me joy. They're bringing me pleasure. So therefore, they're good. Even though people would analyze the ingredients and claim they're bad. But energetically, in those moments, they're good. April likes that. It holds oneself accountable, and then we can be curious about our choices versus self-judgment. April, you're so good at paraphrasing and rephrasing things. My friends, read what she wrote there. It holds oneself accountable, not in a bad way, right? Not in a negative way, but in order to maintain your power of choice, there is some accountability that has to occur or be continually going on. And then we can be curious about our choices versus self-judgment. Self-judgment is a knee kick, or what do you call it? A quick reaction. It's a reactionary response, the self-judgment. But we can pause for that moment and be like, oh, let me not judge this for a moment. Let me use the actual power of my mind, my power of choice, my power of focus, my power of being a mindful observer. Let me use those gifts that are why the mind was designed in the first place, and let me apply them to this particular experience in the moment. And then I can claim my power because I'm being accountable for what I'm choosing. It's so powerful. It's so incredibly, incredibly cool. Marina totally relates. Oh, I'm so glad. Why am I craving dark chocolate? Because I was talking about how much I enjoy. I love dark chocolate too. Joy rank 10. Exactly, April. Exactly. Someday we will play the Moments of Joy game together on stream, perhaps. Sherry asks, do you think the body will process it different if it brings you that much joy? Seriously. Yeah, absolutely. Everything's energy, right? If everything's energy, And if everything that we experience is a reflection of our belief system, if you are eating something that you believe is not good for you, that is how it will energetically represent as it goes into the body. It cannot be different because you believe it to be such. And I know this, particularly with food. I spent 20 years in a 12-step program for food, and I had my breakthrough moment after I left the 12-step program years later when I lost everything. This was in 2009. And I was sleeping in my car at that time, and I would go to a coffee shop, a cafe, where I would work on my laptop or play a game on my laptop. And I had this relationship with the barista who would allow me to take whatever was left at the end of the night that they would normally throw out, and I could bring it home. So I had my choice of stuff. So for a while I was just eating bagels because I knew that for my body and my beliefs, I didn't know about belief system stuff back then, but I knew that for my body at the time, I believed, let's put it this way, I believed that bagels were safe for me in terms of not triggering and this is not who I currently believe. I'm a completely different person than I was 15 years ago when this happened, but I'm telling you guys this story as an example. Back then I believed in my addiction to a large degree still. So I believed bagels were safe. There was this one day after about a week and a half in which he had no bagels left at the end of the night. All there was blueberry muffins. And those were the really yummy blueberry muffins, by the way, but they're the ones with the huge granulated sugar crystals on them. And I looked at that and I panicked. And then I got back in the moment. I got mindful again, and I thought, well, it's either blueberry muffins for dinner and breakfast, or I don't eat. And it was more uncomfortable to consider not having supper or breakfast the next morning than it was. That was way more uncomfortable for me. I just at the time, I still have this belief that I do not like to skip a meal because I want my body to have nutrition. So I chose, and I wasn't aware of this perspective at that time, but in telling you guys the story, I can see that the decision I made was based on what felt the most comfortable in the moment, and that was to take the blueberry muffins. I think might have been a cranberry as well, but they were basically the heavily sugared muffins that had those huge, I'm talking about the huge granular sugar crystals, right? So as the cafe was closing down and everybody else had driven away, I still remember this moment. It's really powerful. I sat on the curb staring into this bag of muffins, and I said to God, Source, I said, all right, I'm trusting you. I will trust that this is my nutrition for the next 2 meals, and that my body will get what it needs from these, and that this will be okay. I'm going to trust that. And in fact, I'm not just going to trust it. Because by that time I had been sitting with my spirit guide channel, Dr. Peoples, for several years. I'd been studying and sitting with Abraham Hicks in their workshops when they would come to LA. I had been practicing law of attraction, and I knew that if I set, as April was saying, speaking to the power of intention, if I set the intention that this would be okay for me, and not just okay, but I decided, because it'd been like 20 years since I'd had one of these muffins, right? 10, 15, 20 years. And I decided, let me enjoy this. This is the first time in a long time. And so I intentionally ate every bite. I chewed on it. I reflected, and I basically that was the Moments of Joy game. I just tapped into and it was absolutely delicious. And in that moment, I made friends with food in a way that I had never made friends with food before. And ever since then, I've never had issues with food. Yes, occasionally I will overeat. Occasionally I will make a choice that I don't like. But guess what? That's just being human. That's not being anything other than just being human. We make choices that we regret sometimes. We make choices. Again, back to that choices. So, Sherry, that's the answer to your question. Knee-jerk. Thank you, Darlene. Knee-jerk reaction. Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate you guys helping me out. Gwen, you too. Knee-jerk. Jinx. Yeah. I think yes, Sherry. This is also speak. Yep. I love this example. Thank you, April. I have not told that story in a long time. We do not shame ourselves for any of our choices. When we're taking responsibility for our choices, we could shame ourselves. But when we're in that place of power, making the choice, consciously recognizing that we are making a choice, it's not knee-jerk anymore. We're not reacting. We're responding. We're replying. We're interacting. It's so amazing how far we went with this. All right. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. I think what we're going to be doing tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure, but the council suggested that tomorrow, for tomorrow morning's coffee with the council, that we do something a smidge different. We've been learning about a lot of different stuff the last few days. What's today? Yeah, today's like the 5th day. It's hard to believe. So I think what we might do tomorrow is questions for the council. So tomorrow's coffee, I think, is going to be a Q&A for the council based on what we've been discussing these last few days. So if you're brand new and you want to catch up on what the last 4 days have been about, please go check out my teacher link. If you scroll down that page, you'll see a Coffee with the Council replay series. Link to that. That's a link to the playlist that has all the Coffee with the Council replays. So you can watch those at your own pace and catch up if you want to. Or you can just simply trust that what you heard today is enough to bring in. But if you've been coming up with any questions the last few days, I think, wouldn't it be fun? I mean, what do you guys think? I think it would be fun if tomorrow, instead of another message, we just simply have a Q&A with the council about isness, about wasness, about not yetness, about nowness, about any, about not anything. This is not a readings thing. This is a Q&A about what we've been discussing. How does that sound for you guys? Sherry says, I'm enjoying these discussions and feeling them deeply. Thank you so much, Greg and council, for this. Okay. April is up voting. Is that an up vote? Darlene says, great. I would love your feedback. What do you think about a Q&A tomorrow about isness, etc. with the council? Sherry says, yes. Jack says, love that. Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in before I leave? Please say so. Yes, says Catherine. We have 2 Catherines, don't we? A Catherine with a C and a Catherine with a K. My dear friends, as you are giving me your feedback on doing Q&A tomorrow, you're welcome, Marina. I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I love your contributions to this. I love your presence to this Coffee with the Council. This is just simply going to continue on as we go through the rest of April, every weekday at 8:30 in the morning Mountain Time, whatever that time that translates to you. I don't know, because I'm horrible at calendar math. How's this? I choose to not try to learn calendar math or time zone math. I choose to be slightly ignorant about time zone math. Just slightly, because there are certain time zone translations that I can do very good. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. If you have not followed me yet and if your heart was touched, if your mind is blown, if you're feeling gobsmacked and you really got value out of this, if you feel so called to offer a financial donation, I love that. But primarily, I would just love for you to follow, check out my tracks, share this with friends, spread the word. We are a growing community here. Our happy little bubble is our group on Insight Timer. And if you're the type of person that likes to connect with teachers off of Insight Timer, I've got all my links and everything right up there at yaygreg.com. We've got stuff going on outside of Insight Timer as well, but we've got a lot going on right now in Insight Timer. So very good. Let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you, Greg. Loving these sessions so much. Thank you, Jack. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. Sherry says, don't know if I have questions, but I'm with they will come up at the time. I agree, Sherry. You just never know. I'm sure they'll come up. All right, my friends, I'm going to send you off. Many blessings to your day. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. And I'll have this replay probably up in the next hour. Oh, thanks, Gwen. Yeah, we do a monthly Zoom. It's called Let's Soar Together. If you have really loved this and if your heart would appreciate the opportunity to come together in community with other people, other like-hearted people, and so that you can actually speak instead of having to type, I strongly welcome you to check out anything I have going on out of Insight Timer. I've created those in order for us to come together on a much more personal level. So Let's Soar Together is a beautiful opportunity for that. And there are more things like that coming, but that's only if you feel like it. It is truly a wonderful experience. All right, my dear friends, love you so much. Thank you for being here with me. It is always a joy and a pleasure. It's just so amazing for me. My intrinsic motivation is truly when we come together in joy and in love, and when our hearts expand, and when you guys are like, wow, 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 great message. That brings me so much joy and fulfillment and satisfaction. And so I thank you for your integral role in that. All right, my dears, I am off and about. Have a great day.